Long shot through the crowd. Score! Comets score, win. It's a big one for the Canucks.
91, Colin, Chaulk, Toronto, Ontario, captain.
That's a good question too. When you say the trust keeps coming to those same, or the coach keeps coming to the same guys because he builds that trust, and let's say those guys get into a funk and they are starting to get fatigued, and you can tell they're mental fatigue. Do you step up and say like, hey, Al, do you think maybe change things up a little bit here? Or?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, like if there's something, I don't know, I'd say when I learned this maybe 10, 12 years ago, I kind of thought, okay, before I say something to the coaching staff, management, or whatever, the brass, whatever you want to call it, am I saying it? Is it going to benefit me, or is it on behalf of the team? So I figured out that okay, if it's on behalf of the team or it's going to hurt the team, I need to go in and speak to the staff, But if it's a problem that I have personally, I got to kind of just try to take a step back and say, okay, am I controlling my attitude? Am I being a baby about it? Am I working hard, right? The two things essentially you can control is your effort and your attitude, right? So after that, kind of, it's obviously hard, but, kind of look at yourself basically, compare yourself to yourself, not that, the teacher gives him a hard time, but, he gets whatever he wants. Everything he asks for something, he gets it, So it's like, try to compare yourself to yourself first, what your standards are, and then if it's still a problem, then you need to bring it to the staff, So, because a lot of times things work themselves out, but if you let everything kind of build up, then you end up snapping over something you probably shouldn't. And I mean, I do that sometimes still, right? Because you say, you kind of just, sweep it under the mat, and then you blow up over something stupid, right? Because you're waiting for
pressure builds.
Yeah, you're waiting for it, right? You want the opportunity, and a little thing, you didn't bother you 6 months ago now,
Snowball.
And you let a huge major thing go, and someone disrespected you. Probably you should have stood up for yourself or a teammate, or you probably should have brought it to the coach. So, and you learn about, maybe you try to, remember or learn about, maybe if something like that happens again, I need to go, I need to step up and say something, and maybe it's not going to be the most popular. Maybe they're not going to like me, but,
Right.
No problem at all.
I guess the next one I was going to ask is how much do players talk gameplay during the breaks in between periods? How much talking do the coaches do? Is it even or more one-sided as far as do you get in there and do you discuss what you guys need to do, or does Al come in and kind of say, hey, this is what we need to work on, or is it kind of 50-50?
It depends on, Al's way is he gives us a basic framework, and then he kind of lets us police ourselves a little bit, So, or some teams, some coaches will be like, this is the way, and, you got to do the way, So, and they don't really want, the players' input. Now, so I feel like that way is kind of going by the wayside, I guess, for lack of a better term, because you need your veteran guys, you need your bread and butter, so to speak, guys to be on your side, but you don't want to make it cushy for them either, so you kind of need their input, but you got to let that, like Al has to make sure I and everybody else know that he's the boss, and if he, if something needs to be changed or said, that he will do it and make sure that everybody understands the chain of command, right? So, but within your line, like, the red line or my line, like we are, constantly talking about, okay, what are we trying to do here? What are we trying to accomplish? And, don't get frustrated, stay the course, stick to the game plan. We need to try and wear them down, whatever it is. And it doesn't always work. You can make the plays, execute perfectly, and I try and tell the kids, like, and you know what? You still might not make the team, So it's like, that's life. You have to understand that, You could be the best man for the job, but you know what? You just may not get the gig. So, that's the frustrating part where, what do? Do you crawl in a hole? Or do you stay home and cry in bed, or do you pick yourself up and put one foot in front of yourself and just try and deal with it? It's tough, right? So these guys, some guys don't like to talk a lot. It depends on you. Kind of know your alignment. It's just like friends. You go in and you're trying to talk to somebody and they're quiet that day and they're giving you one-word answers. You should probably just take your cup of coffee and go in another room. Or
you have aspirations to want to be a coach, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that that's the way it is now, are you already like tuning yourself to be able to do that? Are you like a real people person and can kind of?
Try to be, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, but sometimes, again, like maybe you're misreading. You're getting the wrong signals. You're not seeing what you think, and then you're trying to be sensitive about those things, and you're just missing it, right? So, it's for sure. I try to. I try to observe at first, when you meet a new person or a friend, everyone seems like this person's great. This guy's a great guy, Until you hang out with them for 4 or 5 times, you're like, wow, was I ever dead wrong? I'm sure we've all gone through that experience. So, I try to just kind of, I try to really wait for a bad moment in someone that's on the team, doesn't score for a few games or, something goes wrong and see how he reacts.
To really get a good assessment.
To get a good assessment of him, yeah. So I try not to, I'm not saying that I'm standoffish, but I'm definitely trying to treat everybody equally and, and make sure I shake my hand, make sure I, kind of give them any, not advice, but just say, hey, this is in town here, that's in town there. Make them feel comfortable, Don't want to like sit in the corner and be like, who are you? Try to, and then just kind of just let it go from there. But, basically, just kind of, I guess, get to know them a little bit first and then.
Just so you're kind of trying to test them and see
Little
like
bit.
kind of how they react to certain situations. And
Yeah, absolutely.
His character's revealed sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I would say, not like I'm needling in the, off the side there, but I think I was, I don't know, maybe 21 or 22. Like I don't act any differently in the dressing room as I do with my 4 and 8-year-old. Maybe my choice of language is a little different sometimes, but.